Let me give you some background so you can understand where I'm coming from and where I hope you will be going. I've been a state legislator for 19 years. I have been outspent by my Democrat opponents anywhere from 2 to 4.5 to 1. I won last November. I spent $138,000. My opponent spent $558,000 in a district that Obama barely won. I got 61%. Why did I get that? I had 31 of 36 precincts covered with precinct captains. I used to be a Democrat. I grew up that way. My parents were from Johnstown, Pennsylvania. They're yellow dog Democrats. We knew what it meant to go out into the community. When I was going door to door, I found an amazing number and cross-section of citizens from all backgrounds concerned about Obamacare. I thought, this is something very interesting. If this background of people is involved here. At that point, I knew what I was going to do in Richmond. And just to give you a little bit of background, when I worked in Congress for 6.5 years, I devised the original Hyde Amendment cutting off abortion funding. I walked up to... I had the information which most congressmen didn't. I gave it to former Congressman Bob Bauman, who said, there's a freshman congressman here I'm going to give this to. It turned out to be Henry Hyde. Why was that important? We found out later when I was working for Congressman Bob Dornan of Southern California. Charlie Rangel, of all people, came up to us. We were in a conference committee, and I was his Dornan's senior LA. And this is right after McRae versus Harris, where the court sustained that the Hyde Amendment was constitutional. And Charlie Rangel, who voted against the Hyde Amendment, who is a big spender, and you all know that, told Dornan, he said, look, he says, you know, you guys and I differ on this abortion question. He said, but I tell you what, if the Supreme Court had said that they're going to spend our money, now Charlie had it wrong, it wasn't his money, it's your money. If they were going to spend our money doing that, I would have put in court stripping bills faster than you could have. It paid off because Congress could not afford to lose that appropriations power. Even though they're prodigal spenders, they have to have their hands on that budget. The very clear policy issue that was raised by isolating that question of abortion funding led to the defeat of a number of people. You need to do the same thing at the state legislative level, and you need to do it at the state legislative level because almost half of the members of Congress previously served in state legislatures. This is the spawning ground for Washington politicians. If you can get people there in debt to you, they will stay in debt to you more likely when they go to Washington. You need to get either a bill or a budget amendment. A budget amendment is real simple. Next year to state no money shall be used to implement any effort by the IRS to identify people who are not wanting to pay for this Obamacare. If the feds want to do it, let them pay for it. This forces a confrontation. It also circumscribes and it makes you organize yourself into a machine that can get legislation done. This same machine which gets legislation passed can also elect or defeat members of Congress. So you must do this. You've got to organize. If you don't organize, you've got enthusiasm, but the congressmen, and I mean, they're just going to roll over you. You have to identify the structure where you live. Everybody here, when you go home, you need to get a precinct map. Where you live, that's your turf, that's your fiefdom, that's where you best operate in that area. I've had people, like I said, I had the teenagers who would go door to door for me. You don't have to even be able to vote as long as you make this voter contact. What Obama did was to create the illusion of community. And in my area in 2008, I saw all these cars from Illinois and the Midwest and Wisconsin and Iowa. These were the folks he had going door to door. All they did is say, hi, I'm Sally Smith. I'd like to give you this brochure. It's Mr. Obama running for president. Thank you very much. Next house. That's not that intimidating. But it created a sense of community that people were concerned about, quote, my problem, and you saw what happened. Now, in the same district that Obama just won, my opponent outspent me 4.5 to 1. I got 61% because I had 31 of 36 precincts covered. You have the power, you just have to get organized in that way. Now, let's go back here a second and look what Mr. Obama is doing. If he really wanted to preserve liberty, and address one of these problems, say, of the pre-existing conditions, he would have supported a bill that I think Senator Coburn has in, or a bill like that, which would give you a tax credit or a tax deduction for purchase of catastrophic insurance. You make the decision. Pre-existing conditions don't count there at all. He didn't go that path. He went the individual mandate way. If he was concerned about the question of free riders, Article 1, Section 8, Paragraph 4, talks about, it gives Congress the power to make uniform bankruptcy laws. If people are really stiffing their medical care providers and they can afford it, you can write the bankruptcy laws to force them to declare bankruptcy rather than make you and I pay for this. He didn't choose that. He picked the route of the mandate. The mandate attempts to say that I must be compelled to enter a contract. Now, that's in Obama land where you can force people to enter contracts. In Virginia, we say you have to voluntarily enter into a contract for it to be valid. If not, it's voidable, which is why this gentleman is more interested in converting citizens into serfs and sharecroppers than he is in dealing with you and serving you as your president.